For today's cup of coffee, we're
Destroy us all! Destroy us all! Destroy us all!
Yes. That's the theme.
Destroy us all!
That's the theme for today's cup. I'm trying to think, where did that come from?
Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy,
That's right.
the clown episode.
That's
the balloon
right.
clown episode in specific.
Well, because I couldn't pull that out of my brain in that
You couldn't
moment.
pull that out of your ass.
I know I couldn't.
The endless Rolodex of knowledge.
It depends on the day. It depends on the glucose level. It depends on everything else. Yeah. So, anyhow, for today's cup of coffee, the interesting topic. And this is just barely scratching the surface from very much ignorant layman point of view, that being mine, which is AI and consciousness. AI being artificial intelligence, for those who may not know.
Damn robots are taking over the world! Mr. Krabs is a robot!
And I do have an article by Paul Seaburn that sort of, was the spark on this. And doing a little bit of other research, I found a paper. I don't even know who wrote this. I don't even know when it was written, possibly in the 90s. I don't know. But what it said was valuable. And it was from a little website. And, of course, links will be in the description box. It was to Psych U Toronto.
Toronto, Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, those folks, and it's like, Canada, we stand by those of y'all who's on the side of freedom. And the paper is called AI and Consciousness. And this person proposes consciousness is perhaps one of the most controversial areas of research in psychology. Currently, there is no general consensus on how to define or measure conscious awareness. This is why I don't believe that there's necessarily a difference between mind and spirit, because there's a lot of unknown out there. Despite this, both researchers and laypersons alike feel that consciousness is a fundamental determinant of what it means to be human. Not surprisingly, in the field of AI, consciousness is just as controversial. One fundamental issue is whether or not conscious awareness is simply a byproduct of complex intelligence systems. Those who assume that consciousness is simply a byproduct or an emergent property argue as follows. In humans, a single neuron has nothing resembling intelligence. Yet in combination, billions of neurons combine to form a mind that does possess intelligence. It would appear then that the brain is more than the sum of its parts. Intelligence emerges with sufficient configural complexity of neurons, so it is not inconceivable that other attributes such as consciousness, creativity, and emotionality may emerge as a byproduct of complex, artificially intelligent systems. In general, then, the idea is that consciousness is just a byproduct of any sufficiently complex brain, and AI engineers need not try to isolate and recreate it specifically. It will emerge automatically as needed. If one assumes, on the other hand, that consciousness is not such a byproduct, then an additional question is whether or not it is possible to computationally define and simulate it. Thus, in asking whether computers can think, we must inevitably turn to the question of whether thinking computers would actually be conscious. In other words, at some point in the enterprise of AI, it becomes important to define the relationship between consciousness and intelligence. For example, is consciousness a necessary condition for intelligent systems, or would intelligent systems necessarily display consciousness? Skeptics point out that a fundamental component of consciousness is subjective phenomenal experience, which may be beyond the scope of computational simulation. To illustrate this distinction, imagine a person totally colorblind from birth who as a result has never experienced the color red as any form other than equally bright gray or green. Then imagine that the person studies color theory, physics, psychology of perception, and the biology of the eye. Imagine that the person becomes totally knowledgeable about all aspects of the color red. Skeptics argue that in studying all of this factual information, a person is learning the type of thing a computer might learn, wavelengths, frequencies, etc. However, what the person is not learning is what red really looks like. She can't see, so her experience is lacking something. The argument then is that no amount of factual information, the kind you would give a computer, can give them subjective experience of red or anything else. What makes the argument significant is that the same skeptics argue that the subjective, personal, phenomenological experiences are what make up consciousness, and thus without them, an AI cannot be conscious. So I thought that was a very thought-provoking, insightful piece of writing.
Yeah.
And I would love to give credit to whomever wrote it. But it was just one of those little random things that came up in a search, and I'm like, yeah, it's got some really good points there. So this brings us back to Paul Seaburn from Mysterious Universe, and this was written February the 16th, 2022. And this article is, AI scientist claims artificial intelligence is already conscious. Yes, we've got cat. We've always got cats doing something to interrupt. This is another reason another reason I always sound like a drunkard. I really do. I go back and I listen to this, and it's like, my God, I sound like a drunkard. And other people are, it's like, God love her, she's a drunkard. Anyhow, go ahead. You were saying anything?
My thoughts are kind of somewhere else, sort of at the moment.
Did I sound like a drunkard?
No.
Okay.
I'm more worried as to why he's doing it.
Oh, that's Kiska. It's because he can't get in here. So, Mr.
You know if he was warning us or what?
No. Mr. Seaburn writes, are you worried about artificial intelligence becoming real intelligence? If you aren't, you may be after listening to a top AI scientist who claims that some of the largest neural networks may have already developed to form a consciousness. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
More food for thought. The organization he works for was co-founded by Elon Musk. And he says, now are you worried?
Death becomes her now a warning?
Right. And the only problem that I have with Mr. Seaburn is that he will put random quotes within his article. And you're like, who is it that you're quoting? And yes, I did make the comment that this article, it's like, who are you quoting?
If you do not know where now a warning is from, like...
No, not that. There's a quote, a random quote that says, it may be that today's large neural networks are slightly conscious, end quote.
The fuck?
Who? Right. Who did that? Anyhow, there is an individual with one of these names that I should not even attempt, but I'm going to have to. And it's Ilya Sutskever. And this is the top researcher at OpenAI, an artificial intelligence research laboratory with the stated goal of promoting and developing friendly AI in a way that benefits humanity as a whole. It was founded in December 2015 by Elon Musk, Sutskever, and CEO Sam Altman, and others. Musk says he got involved because, quote, we need to be super careful with AI as they are potentially more dangerous than nukes, end quote.
Oh, wow.
It appears we may already have something to fear, as Sutskever recently tweeted that a conscious AI may already be in existence. And then we have another random quote that says, every time such speculative comments get an airing, it takes months of effort to get the conversation back to the more realistic opportunities and threats posed by AI, end quote. Anonymous sources. Futurism reports that responses to Sutskever's tweet came fast and furious from the AI community, stating that the tweet from the UNSW Sydney AI researcher Toby Walsh. We don't know what Elon Musk thinks because he left OpenAI in 2019 after the group made a quote-unquote fake news text generator, not generation, but hey, it's all the same difference, and that he no longer liked its direction. OpenAI may not like Musk's direction either. He now says Tesla's forthcoming humanoid robots, quote, might play a role in AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, end quote. Most of the comments from leading AI researchers reflect the common agreement that we're many years away from creating conscious AI, and it may not be possible. We have two more random quotes.
Yeah.
Ego is mostly the enemy, and the intellect is a great refuge from emotions.
Cite your sources.
Yeah, really, that's like,
damn it!
Random.
How hard is it to copy and paste?
When I put quotes at the end of these videos, I always cite who said it.
It's literally right under or
yes,
beside the quote.
And I try to match the quotes to whatever the content is.
And you cite your sources in the description.
I do, because it's called plagiarism.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's theft. And
cite
it's like,
your sources, motherfucker.
I don't do the thieveries. Sutskever seems unfazed by the criticism from his peers. Meanwhile, the rest of us watch movies of HAL 9000 and 2001 A Space Odyssey. If you haven't seen that in years, go back and watch that. That is just an amazing, amazing thing. Thus spake Zarathustra.
Spaceballs.
That too. And then the other one, or Star Trek episodes with data, and wonder if Sutskever is dropping not so subtle hints that GPT-3, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer 3.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Maybe he's cousin to Optimus Prime. I don't know. OpenAI's third generation autoregressive language model that uses deep learning to produce human-like text, which Elon Musk called a fake news generator. Well, yeah. I mean, you know, of course you still have to, at this point, program in what you want said. That's one of the things. It's not that these are just up and running on their own.
Yeah.
They're still a human with an agenda. It doesn't matter what agenda it is, because all humans have one.
Well, there are some that, quote unquote, learn.
Yeah. I'm getting to that. But they're saying that this has achieved consciousness. More random quote. It may be that Ilya Sutskever is slightly full of it. Maybe more than slightly, end quote. Many responses took a sarcastic tone, like this tweet from Michael Bolton.
Oh, now you cite your sources?
Right, he said, no, not that one, not the singer, this is the other one, who questioned what slightly conscious really means. Is it like being slightly dead or slightly pregnant? I understand that. I appreciate that.
Slightly idiotic.
He's not totally dead. He's just mostly dead. Princess Bride.
Bring out your dead. I am dead. Whack.
And what is the bigger or more suspicious deal? That AI expert Ilya, have I called it Ilyana the whole time? It's Ilya. I hope I haven't done that.
Said Ilyana.
Ilya.
Ilya.
ILYA. Thank God I do cite sources.
Yeah.
Sutskever would say in public that AI consciousness already exists, or that so many of his peers objected so quickly and vehemently. Is this a company or trade secret? So who is Ilya Sutskever? And it says from Wiki, a computer scientist working in machine learning and currently serving as chief scientist at OpenAI. It says in March 2013 that Google acquired DNN Research and hired Sutskever as a research scientist at Google Brain. Then we go further to Wikipedia. What is Google Brain?
Yeah, what is it?
It is a deep learning artificial intelligence research team under the umbrella of Google AI, a research division at Google dedicated to artificial intelligence. Formed in 2011, Google Brain combines open-ended machine learning research with information systems and large-scale computing resources. The team has created tools such as TensorFlow, which allow for neural networks to be used by the public with multiple internal AI research projects. The team aims to create research opportunities in machine learning and natural language processing. And that sounds relatively benign until we think about, over the past several years, how that humans have been test subjects without their knowledge, even as far as the manipulation of emotions, different things like that. So we have to wonder, where is all that information going to be used? And very much right there.
Yep.
Can a machine learn to be human?
No.
I don't know. I think that
it can learn what humans are about.
Well, that's what they were talking about, the colorblind person.
But it can never truly understand what it is to be human.
It doesn't have a soul.
No.
It will never have a soul.
Because it's fake. It's fake intelligence. Artificial intelligence.
Right. It's... the whole thing freaks me out. It has always freaked me out. You had something about...
I get to play now.
Yeah, he's got a little snippet here about that they are using a form of AI at fast food restaurants now. And it's going to be coming to lots of things near you.
Yeah. This is at an Arby's in SoCal.
Okay.
South Carolina.
SoCal.
South California.
You're right. Southern California.
Welcome to Arby's. My name is Tori. What would you like to order?
Can I get a spicy Greek gyro?
Would you like to make it a small, medium, or large meal?
Just a sandwich, thank you.
Sure thing.
There's one that was actually like... There's a lot more.
That's all, thanks.
Thank you. We're happy to help you at the window.
Thank you.
That was I'm wondering if it's not some kind of the same technology that they've got as far as the robocalls now.
That was from the user Ari_Ariana.
Okay.
That's literally what it's, because it's triple A's at the end. Ariana.
Now, how do we credit her in the... How do we cite her in our description box?
Just TikTok.
Okay. All right.
Ariana.
We'll figure it out.
And then this one is from Gossip Gal News.
McDonald's has just begun to use AIs to take your orders in the drive-thru. Experts say that up to 30 million jobs could be lost to this new technology by the year 2030. McDonald's is calling this their McD tech team, and they are hiring more engineers and data scientists. But the low-wage workers may soon be finding themselves pushed out. McDonald's.
Well, that was a no-brainer. We knew that. But the loss of 30 million jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And there were rumors of that. One has to wonder, was that the reason that the wages for certain work and stuff were raised pretty much without, I don't want to say without thought, but without much resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, here, we're going to pat you on the head for a few minutes, give you a cookie, and then you too can take your place in the bread line. Yeah,
that's pretty much what they do.
And Japan has quite a bit of the automated everything, don't they?
Oh, yeah. They got a hotel that, the front desk is run by robots.
Right.
Literal robots. One is a T-Rex.
Well, that's cool.
And I love that.
That's
I love
cool.
the fact that they got a T-Rex.
Well, the Japanese people have this amazing sense of whimsy, which a lot of us appreciate.
They enjoy weird and out there stuff.
Yeah, to a degree.
Yeah.
But as far as the peoples, they are expected in a lot of ways very much to conform.
Some of them, yeah, they do. But also, if you go into a niche, they expect you to sort of stay in that niche.
So
like Ganguro or Harajuku.
Right. So you have to be that. What happens when you get into your 30s and 40s?
You become one of those middle-aged housewives that is like standard in every Japanese movie that just cooks and is like, how's your day?
But are they still doing the Harajuku or what? Okay, so...
I don't know, honestly. Kiska, set your ass down.
This is just, you know... And I had talked to oldest kid about that before with the AI. And he is of the train of thought that we're decades away from it being anything or whatever. But that paper when, okay, you've just got one neuron and it can do nothing. And as far as the machines teaching the machines, and going back to the Star Trek, it wasn't a matter of data. It was a matter of the Borg. Now, the concept of the Borg always scared the shit out of me. You will be assimilated. And I'm like, oh, hell no. No, I do not assimilate well. Hell, I do not.
You can't. You don't follow rules.
No.
Well, you couldn't even walk a crosswalk. You refuse.
I did refuse.
You refused to obey traffic laws as far as that.
No, I had common sense. I looked both ways. There was nothing coming. I walked from one sidewalk to the other.
Crosswalks are a thing.
Now, let's explain. This crosswalk, this was a shopping complex. It was not a public road or anything like that. If it's a public road, yes, I will use a crosswalk. But this was a shopping complex.
That where the crosswalk is, traffic comes in and out of.
I could see on both sides.
So?
And my response is, hell yes, I will jaywalk, and if I feel like it, I will spit on the sidewalk.
I'll be damned if I do that. I'll do a lot of things, but I don't
if
do
it
that.
is a law that has purpose, and I do understand why they had the crosswalks, but I am not so brainwashed that when they're going, oh, do it this way, you got to do it this way, because that will just out of the core of my being, a resounding fuck you, don't tell me what to do. But if people leave me alone, I will do the right thing and go above and beyond. But if somebody's like, you have to do, and I will sit there, I guess it's just like that mule. It's like, I'll show you I don't. I'll plop my ass right down in the middle of it. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. Because when I was growing up, it was a matter, somebody has to earn trust.
I agree, yeah.
And that I question everything. We were taught to question everything. And it just boggles my mind how convoluted everything has come to be. It's just, and even as far as the brainwashing on those that are younger. And this is the reason that we have done the series as far as the mind manipulation through the various and sundry techniques and the mind control stuff. And we'll be doing more of it because this is not new. But to think that we would have it's not a life form, but another form of intelligence / consciousness that was totally, even beyond psychopath. And that's where you get into, I think it was it Judge Dredd or no, it was RoboCop, where somebody did something, they didn't care about the reasoning behind it, whatever, they just pulled out the weapon and blew whoever it was away.
Damn.
And I'll tell you something, thoroughly believe that there are people in high levels, if they thought they could get by with that shit today, they would do it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, artificial in consciousness, not just the intelligence, the artificial intelligence consciousness. That's some scary shit to me. When you sit and ponder it.
I'm waiting for AI ASMR. Or
Oh my
robot
God.
ASMR.
Yeah, let's totally fuck somebody's brain.
I am waiting for that.
You know, and that's another thing as far as we will
And I
at
like
some point
ASMR.
talk about the virtual reality. We've snippets of it, but somebody could get lost in that shit really, really easy.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of ASMR.
Oh, quit that. People don't want to hear that. We'll do it. We'll do the ADHD ASMR one day. But I don't know. Even with and like I said, we'll do a full cup of coffee at some point on the virtual reality. How easy would it be to put subliminal messages in that?
Oh, it's really easy.
Yeah, to further destroy somebody's brain.
I mean, people still do, like, you know, subliminal advertising, whatever. Like, the coldest, he's having a panic attack.
He'll be all right. Hey, trust me, he'll be all
He's
right.
got separation anxiety.
He'll be all right. But that's the reason that we did, and it sort of surprised me that we had not that many views on the manipulation, you know, the thought manipulation through advertising.
Mm-hmm.
They have been doing the subliminal stuff for years and years.
Oh, yeah.
Even at the movie theaters, they had that hot frame where they had like the buy popcorn or go get a soda or something like that. And they made that illegal. But did they really?
We don't know. As I was going to say previously, before I got, you know, distracted by the cat, ASMR channels that you do like mukbangs or whatever, the coldest water bottle. That's literally what it's called, the coldest. And people have it like sit in the background, they casually grab it, take a drink of it, don't say anything about it, it's just there.
And so that's one of their advertisers? Mm-hmm. Of course it is.
That's one of their sponsors.
Yeah. Well, the product placement in movies and everything like that.
Music
and these,
videos,
sure.
anything like that.
Sure. And then people's like, oh, well, they're drinking such and such. But a lot of people, it's just like, suddenly I have this, you know, burning desire to get this drink that I never drink. So it's
I've
just...
never had that.
And we don't know that it's not a matter of the computers helping the people come up with some of these ideas. As far as getting rid of a lot of this stuff, like the, you know, fool book, you know, got rid of that years ago. That's the reason I warned you about the, you know, the thick thought thing and, you know.
Thick thought thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have my own words for it. Things like that, because they are manipulating people's emotions and brains and thoughts and social interactions and all that stuff.
Right.
And all the time they are gathering information, they're gathering data, it's going somewhere, and what a wonderful way to harvest humans in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. Yep. Are we training our replacements? Don't know.
Who knows, honestly.
But I thought that was interesting, scary. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
If you've had experiences with paranormal, supernatural encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, your thoughts about
subliminal messaging.
Your thoughts about AI consciousness. If you've got local, regional, family, myths, legends, send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com.
What kind of AI have you dealt with?
Yeah. Yeah. It's what, you know, I wonder if the new robocalls, is that some form of AI?
It is, technically.
Because nobody wants that job. Because people that are telemarketers get cussed lots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people question their parentage. They question lots of things. We have questions, but it's like,
I don't have that many questions.
we share our questions.
You question everything.
I
go
do.
more with the flow on shit.
Oh, hell no, don't go with the flow. That's the difference between a Leo and a Pisces.
Yeah.
So.
I know what to question. I know what to question when it's time to
Oh,
question.
hell no, that's
'cause I got
always.
the Leo rising, but...
Yeah. No, there is never a wrong time to ask a question.
Yes, there is.
Well, maybe in the middle of a church service or something. Maybe. Or a courtroom. Then you'll get, they can get you in some deep shit. Let's don't do that. Know that you are appreciated for sharing coffee with us, taking a little bit of time with us, pondering these great ponderings.
Yeah.
Know that you are loved. And we'll see you on the next cup.
If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and click that little notification button for daily notifications of our daily uploads. You all have a good one.
Bye.
Destroy us all!